Good morning and welcome to another exciting week vlog update. I am, as always, very stoked to be sharing what's happened over the past several days. So the first bit of news is actually, technically it's not great news. It involves Joel being too unwell this week to do our mixing session in studio on Wednesday, so that has been postponed until next Wednesday, so this coming Wednesday, the 7th. And whilst disappointing, and I'm sure Joel isn't very stoked about it either, the poor guy, hoping he is feeling much better at this point in the week, fingers crossed. But I actually think that it's a great sort of pause and time to reflect on where I'm really wanting to build the tracks that are in the works. So as I mentioned in my last update, we've got the vocals finalized now for Vibration Angle and Life Soaked Reveal. So those two are going to be the first ones to be released. I'm thinking Vibration Angle in November and Life Soaked Reveal in late December. And I really want to do them justice, these concepts. And whilst I know that there's a fine balance between, perfectionism and making sure that things are just right versus, getting it out there because it's ready to be in the world and all of its flaws. It's not going to be perfect, of course, nothing ever will be, but will it connect with people? Will it be something that they want to hear and that they will find value in and maybe even help them in their own inner work? That is ultimately what I want to do with the music that I engage in, is create something that not only people will find value in, but also will assist them in finding what they're searching for. And to me, that would be the greatest success of any artwork that I could undertake. So I think this pause of a week is going to be very useful for me to really get, I suppose, clear in my own head what I want from the tracks, what I want the tracks to convey. And I have, to help that sort of process for myself as well as for Joel, who will be mixing it all, I've compiled in YouTube a new playlist of reference tracks that I will basically be using as a benchmark in my own mind for what I want to go for with these tracks. So if I remember, I will pop a link to that new playlist in the description below somewhere. Hopefully I remember. And it basically is comprised of electronic genre tracks with audio elements and especially vocal treatment methods, vocal approaches that I've really enjoyed for a number of different reasons. And there will also, of course, be a number of my all-time favorite songs in there, because what kind of reference track list would it be without a few personal all-time favorites, right? So that'll, guide me as I progress through these tracks. In other news, this Sunday is the next Australian Songwriters Conference Melbourne Circle, and as I've mentioned previously, we are very, very lucky to have Nicholas Albanis of Dandelion Wine as our guest speaker this Sunday, and he's going to be talking about sort of insider perspectives on music industry systems and processes. And Nick is perfect for this topic because he co-founded Dandelion Wine about 20 years ago, like in the mid-90s, and they have been going strong and just building continuously since then. They've toured internationally, they've put out a number of studio albums in the electro-medieval genre, which is in itself an accomplishment, right? Like, electro-medieval, who does electro-medieval? And makes it so successful and widely appreciated and known on an international level. So not only is Nick just a wildly successful artist and multi-instrumentalist and composer, but he's also got decades of experience being very active in the arts sector in the music industry. So he's worked at APRA AMCOS, which is the Australasian Performing Rights and Mechanical Rights organizations. It's a bit complicated in my head still, but that's kind of a merger that happened a little while ago here in Australasia. I'm preparing this expressing my understanding in this regard, because in October we actually have someone from APRA AMCOS coming to do the Melbourne Circle, so I better get it straight, right, between now and then. Anyway, but for now, this Sunday we've got Nick coming on, and he's been so active in that space. He's been on grant assessment panels for a number of different arts organizations, as well as, I said, working in industry, and so hugely, hugely grateful to have someone like him talk to us on Sunday about that. And then in the next several weeks, actually, I'm also undertaking an intensive creative and personal development program with a dear friend of mine, Jess Gabrielli, who is launching this program that she's compiled over a number of years in her expertise as a sort of personal development and energy work and creative process kind of coach. And she's just launching this flagship project called The Awakening Process. And I am very excited to be one of the first few cabs off the rank, I suppose, in her unrolling of that program. So that's going to start also next Wednesday. So Wednesday morning, I've got Jess. And then in the afternoon, I've got Joel in studio to do this mixing. So it's actually perfect timing, isn't it, to start this personal program about creativity, and then later that day hopping into the studio to start mixing properly the final versions of my next artwork. So I'm very, very excited for the whole next few weeks, next few months, the rest of it, right? Time doesn't exist anyway. Yeah, we can just forget about that. The whole next. And with that in mind, I guess I will close off this week's vlog update and see you next time.